Hello everyone, Steven here, trying as hard as I can to finish up this Sophie follow-up. Every time I think I only have one more week's work on it, it winds up being 2 weeks, so I really should just learn to say 2 weeks. But I earlier today rendered out a rough of this, or rather this, and it's shaping up rather well, but I need to go through and add all of the bells and whistles. And also fix some issues that we had with the animal's tail spikes. I'm going to turn off my onion. Oh! Today's stream is brought to you by Andrew Cole on Patreon. More about that later. I was going to turn off onion skin. That's what I was going to do. I noticed in my render that the tail spikes are occasionally leaving the tail, which as far as we know, they did not have the ability to launch their spines like a porcupine does. So need to correct that. That'd be kind of a weird adaptation. Oh! Like, I know deer can shed their antlers, but it's not a defense mechanism. Also, deer antlers are kind of unique. What in the world? This is the kind of thing I'm talking about. I accidentally had these all set to hold, so all I gotta do is Control-Shift-F9. And suddenly it's going to ease out of that keyframe and back up, and there we go. Oh my goodness. What? That part is not actually visible in the main timeline. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm just going to delete these because I know that they don't show up because this isn't visible at that time. There, that way it only transitions when we need it. I think that's it, yep. Okay, so that was a lot of keyframes to adjust for a relatively minor thing. But that's basically going to be our stream today. I am going to be taking it from slideshow, which is where it is now. So it just goes straight from one picture to the next, which is fine. But I feel like I need to add something to get us from point A to point B, which is going to involve changing our parenting around and just doing some basic, probably swoop, or possibly some scaling at certain points. Okay. Oh, while we're here, I changed this. Yep, it's down here now, which is bad. What? I'm not sure how, but I managed to select a whole bunch of stuff when all I wanted was the path. Yeah, because all I need to do is circle +1. So we can see that it is, there we go. So we can see that it is circled. I hope my mic is actually clipped close up to my mouth. Based on my levels, I'm okay, but I don't know. If you can't hear me, tell me. Right, so here we transition from talking about what we're talking about to talking about it, which sounds like a tautology, but isn't. I guess we'll say this gets parented to this, and this is going to there we go. And then we got to find our next thing, which is this. Yeah, we got time. Use my Y tool, whatever that's called, pan behind tool, to extend it forward. And we just need 5 frames, alt bracket to change the endpoint. And, oh, I also need to move, that's fine, I can do those independently. Did I count right? I don't think I counted right. There we go. You know, I'm not going to do that for this. What I'm going to do for this is turn on continuously rasterize, I think. Yeah. And I'm going to scale this one in. Let's do a full second. And I'm adjusting the anchor point because I need to try and get, oh, in the world? I was adjusting the X instead of the Y because I do that occasionally. There we go. There, now she's off screen. All right, then this guy, First I need to move the opacity back to here, and then do I use local controls for this? That would be a bad idea. We're going to use pre-comp controls, even though it's going to result in some weirdness. Position. Whoa. First off, I'm going to turn off the sound because that's going to get confusing. I'll turn it back on if I need it, obviously. But, I kind of don't like how slow those are. Which means I need to...
Anna here, she needs to keep from you.
I need to turn the sound back on because I do need to hear an audio cue here. Yeah, I want it to land on outlier. Still, oh, helps if you only have the ones you want to move selected. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to sync these two up. Oh hey, there's people commenting, sorry. Kazan says, oh my, is it Christmas yet? Crying emoji. Minir the Kicker says, hi Stephen. Hi Minir the Kicker. Minir the Kicker is no longer watching because he can't, but he says keep up the amazing work and see you next time. Thank you. I will try to. That was really nice. Oh my goodness. There we go. I'm going to be clearing my cache fairly regularly here, I guess. You know what I should do is turn off the lights, because I'll bet those lights are hurting our render times. I like that. Okay, what's next? For this part, I am going to cut, but what can I do? I wonder if I could bring in the transitions that I use in the regular show. Trying to import my dinosaur titles, it's probably going to give me a like, you have to convert this project or something. Actually, I don't know if it throws that if your import missing. Oh, switching to standard view for a second. Apparently the last time I used standard view, this was the comp I had open, because it remembers that kind of thing. I don't think I need this. Yeah, it doesn't have a revealing composition active, so I'm not going to bother with it. I used the wrong shortcut. I was trying to replace, and I used the numpad slash instead of the normal slash. I think everything's going to be okay now. Oh, no, we wanted side by side, didn't we? There we go. Kazan asked at some point, what program do you use right now? It looks crazy. It's not crazy. It's probably the most tightly designed Adobe program in terms of like how much random stuff gets crammed into it. Not that there is zero stuff crammed into it, but there's less. This is After Effects. It is pretty much industry standard for motion graphics. A lot of fully animated shows will even use it, depending on their style. Hey, there we go. What I'm looking for is this. This is not the right thing. Apparently I was not looking for that. Please bear with me. I was looking for this. Yeah, okay. So these are all pre-baked. I wonder if I can use the global light. I'm gonna try it. We are in uncharted territory here, y'all. How do we do this? Let's see. First I'm gonna need to turn lights back on. Then I'm gonna bring in transition 3. I'm gonna put it somewhere. I can't remember if After Effects cares whether it's above or below the lights in the stack. I'm going to put it above because I don't want the shadows from the layer to impact. What? Right. Oh, here's an easy idea. Yeah. Are there any colors I haven't used? Not really, but we're just going to make all these fuchsia so they can see them. So that's the transition. Now I need the mask. I'll make that fuchsia as well, in theory. There it is. What I was going to look at was whether geometry options? No, I need material options. Oh, wait, I can't do material options because it's pre-composed. Or because collapse transformations is on. Cast shadows is on, accept lights is on. I think we are good. That basically looks like it's part of the scene, doesn't it? I'm going to try putting it below everything else. You know what? It's on screen for so briefly, it's probably not a big deal. I was worried that it's not casting shadows on the rest of the scene, but nobody's going to notice. Unless, I could probably put a drop shadow on it and just fake it. I might do that. But first, we need to use this as a mask, like that. We're actually going to move both of these back a little bit. There we go. And we're going to say I need my modes up because I need to use that layer as a alpha matte, I assume. Yeah, there it is. But at the same time, I need to duplicate this and put it here. This might not work. Oh no. This might have been for naught. And I will explain why. My main Stegosaurus, this guy here, is broken up into many layers. So there's actually limitations on what I can do to mask that in the main composition, unless I do something clever with, like, I could insert a layer. I could make a pre-comp that is just a series of transition masks and use that as like a track to mask all of these. Is that worth doing? After Effects remembers, if I go into one of these pre-comps, After Effects remembers what frame I'm on. So this might actually be a viable solution. What if, now I'm thinking, instead of having a whole bunch more layers in here, what if I just put it in the composition itself? So I could open up each of these, which is going to take a second. Yeah, that'll work. And then I'll say, I'll make a new composition. How long are these? Make a new 10-minute long composition, which is absurd. You usually don't have 10-minute compositions in After Effects. It's usually more like a minute or so. Well, I guess it's as long as the shot you're working with. So I guess it could be pretty long. All right, so I made a new composition, and I forgot to name it. What are we calling this? Someday I'll learn to type. Maybe when I retire. Kazan asks, do I ever use the drawing tablet for making animations like this? Just curious. I do. Not for this step, because there isn't much advantage to using it with After Effects, considering I'm doing most of it. First off, I have my tablet set up so that it's only mapped to my main monitor, and you may notice that I'm occasionally going over to what I have on the second monitor. And I actually usually have After Effects spread out even more. I have my work area over here and my timeline on the other monitor. So it's just more convenient to use a mouse. But if I'm doing something that does require drawing-like tasks, like if I'm doing a, oh my goodness, 1 second. So if I'm doing stuff like drawing all of these paths out, yes, I use the tablet. And sometimes if I'm doing a lot of manipulation of them once I've drawn them, I'll also use the tablet. Anything where I have to have fine control over it, I find it's a lot easier to use the tablet. But when I'm mostly working with keyframes, like what we're doing today, when I'm working with keyframes and layers, I tend to use the mouse more. It's just easier. That was a long answer to a simple question. Right, so we're bringing in, how are we going to do this? First off, yeah, first we need to bring that one that we just made, Stegosaurus vid masks, into this, and we're going to set it to stencil alpha, I assume. Yeah. And we're going to drag in a solid, just a plain white solid. And we're going to be able to keyframe its opacity. All right. Now, we go to the point where we want the video mask to appear, which is here. We open up one of our guys here. We open up this one here. And you see it's preserved our frame all the way down. And then we need TR03 vid mask to start at this frame. And we need our opacity to be 0 on the solid. And then when this is done, this needs to be 100 again. That should have worked. I smacked myself on the head because I forgot. The transition we're using has two sides, and we need the outside, not the inside. So how do we do that? We say mode silhouette alpha. Yeah, okay, that should work. Where's the thing? It should be happening. Hey, there it is. It's kind of hard to tell, but now that we know that works, all we gotta do is copy this and paste it at the top of all of these. Aye. Okay, then we unsolo this. Hey, it's working. You can see there, as we go forward, it's splitting him down the middle, which is what we wanted. Now that probably seemed like a lot of work for one transition, but we can now use that vidmask track. It's a comp, but I'm effectively using it as a track for every time we need to do this. And we can do the opposite. We can have this in the normal mode where we see what's in the middle and not what's on the outsides. So that should work. Okay. Yeah, the next thing that happens is, why are there keyframes there? We don't need keyframes here. Yeah, the next thing that happens is we have this, and I'm remembering now, when I watched this back, it was really distracting. So I wonder if I could... slow that down. Well, not slow it down, but have less change per frame, which is the same thing as slowing something down. To make it less choppy. I move my work area to just be that clip, and I'm going to try playing it back. I'm going to turn off the audio because I don't need to hear a remix of my own voice. I'm going to turn this to full. And then I'm going to wait for it to render because I have to. And all we're trying to do here is have a small enough the slower your frame rate, which we're working at 15 frames a second, the slower your frame rate, the less change per frame you can get away with. This is why action scenes in cartoons are usually on 1s, whereas dialogue scenes are usually on 2s. I guess that depends on the show. There's a lot of shows that do action scenes on 2s, but they'll cheat. They'll have like one character on 2s on the odd frames and one character on 2s on the even frames, so that it still mimics being on 1s. This is still too fast. You might ask, what is the relevance of this particular graphic? It is public domain and shows Stegosaurus bones, is why I'm using it. Because it's a whole swath of time here that I don't have to draw anything for. In the future, I'm probably going to do these. I'm probably going to have segments where I talk to the camera. Just because it's free. Essentially, you can just record what you need rather than having to come up with pictures. And there's some schools of thought that it's more engaging to have segments where you talk to the camera. Or, I suppose, strictly speaking, you're talking to the audience. Appearing on screen talking to the audience, not doing like what I'm doing where I'm just a voice. There were a lot of qualifications to that simple idea just now. All right, let's see how that works. Kazan asked, are you a self-taught animator or ... question mark? What inspired you to become one? Because I already know you did not possess enough patience to be a paleontologist. You said on the stream before, XD. Or, not XD. Smiling with your eyes scrunched. I went to school for this, actually. I have a bachelor degree in animation. And what inspired me to become one, well, I went originally intending to go for film video, just general, which is probably good because I wind up doing a whole weird collection of tasks related to film video in this job. But I specialized in animation simply because, well, for two reasons. One, when you're a film student, you have to do a lot of projects because that's how you learn. And if you're going to be working in live action, that means you have to have friends to act in your student film projects. And I didn't have that luxury. So, animation, you're just doing it all yourself. Other reason, I found that a lot of people I went to school with had watched a ton of films, like so many films, more films than I had seen. But I had watched more cartoons than any of them had. So I thought, well, I should probably stick to what I know. It also helps that I happened to grow up in the 90s, early 2000s, where animation, especially on cable with the Cartoon Network, are we still calling it the Renaissance? Was happening, particularly Tartakovsky and Paul Rudish and Craig McCracken and all of that crop of animators making creator-driven cartoons instead of product-driven cartoons like we had in the 80s was a huge influence. Mind you, I don't actually make cartoons, I make motion graphics, but a lot of the same motion principles happen to apply. A lot of the same design principles happen to apply too, now that I'm thinking about it. And I do get to do some limited character animation, especially on this show. Is it over here? Yeah. Or no, it isn't. Yeah, there it is. Anyway, if you've watched the dinosaur show, you know that when I'm going through the changes that I would make to the animal, I usually have the animal react to the changes, and that counts as character animation, even though it's really minor. Okay. Yeah, so here I need to transition again. So I'm going to use transition 1. Let's go. I'm going to put this I just noticed I forgot to adjust that. Actually, this should be alpha inverted matte. There we go. All right, in theory, hi. I cleared the cache, so the stream health might go up now. All right, that's pretty. Next. Where in the world are we? There we are. Gonna zoom out a tad. I have a lot of layers in this composition. I usually would divide this into individual shots, render them out, and assemble them in Premiere, but the whole episode is only 6 minutes long, so I wasn't inclined to do that this time. If we start incorporating live action elements, I'm going to have to though. All right, so let me drag this guy in. So we start here, or actually it should probably be about halfway in now. Oh. There we go. Let's make you fuchsia. And let's scroll down. And we need this. And we need this. Actually, did we forget? We did. I'm going to turn on both of these because I'm going to be using them a lot, and that means I'm going to have to shrink my preview down. What am I looking for? We need to switch this guy to be 3D on and continuously rasterize, or collapse transformations on. Wow, that added a lot of 3D objects. Look at all them 3D objects. Anyway, fortunately they're not on screen very long. What is this? This is the video mask, so we're going to make that fuchsia as well. So then, pardon. We're going to open up our transition and turn off all this stuff because we don't need it. That's better. Oh, and apparently we're going to drag all this stuff below. There we go. Because I noticed that my text was on top of the transition. What was the other thing I had to do? Oh. Where this starts, the mask has to start. I'm just going to take all of these text layers and I'm going to make them shy. And then I'm going to hit my shy switch, and then I'm never going to have to scroll past them again. I mean, I am, because I'm going to need them later, but for now I don't have to scroll past them. I have a null object unhidden. Null objects are useful for a variety of purposes, just not this one. See, for small stuff like this text layer, I don't even have to mask it because I can just cover it and then uncover it. Oh, that's interesting. Hi. I typed something. You must do it. Somehow numlock was off. I have never in my life turned off numlock, but it was off. There we go. I'm pulling my layer back until it's actually covering the other 3D layers in the composition, because that's necessary. Okay. Next thing. What's going on there? I'm sure it's fine. Oh my goodness. Next thing is take these keyframes, move them here. There's two ways I can do this. I'm going to do it the right way. If I were in a hurry, I would do it the wrong way. So first thing I go to the beginning and turn off all animation on the duplicate, and then I parent it to this guy. And that way it'll keep the movement but still be a separate layer, and any changes I make to the original still carry through. But, importantly, I can set this guy to use that as an alpha matte. It would help if the entire composition was in frame. Try that again. Perfect. You're probably getting an idea of why my layers panel is so enormous compared to my preview panel. It's because I have to scroll around it so much. Yeah, so you see I don't even have to transition out scene 1 because it's completely covered early enough that I can just cut away from it, and it works. Okay. It occurs to me that that might be disorienting. I'm going to try something. I think that makes a lot more sense. Having it go this way and then have the next shot going this way didn't sit right with me. So I just flipped it. I don't think I need a transition for this one. I do need a transition for this one. We already used transition 3, so we're going to use 2 this time. Let's drag this guy in. Just like that. Make it fuchsia. And we'll drag this guy in. Hey, I got it right. So After Effects, when you're dragging in layers, it actually like detects where in time your cursor is, but I can usually not guess right, so I don't usually even try. Right, but this has to be way higher in the stack. Hey, I can shy these too. And this is the last time I have to do this step. Okay. Oh, I guess I do need one more. I need the opposite. There we go. And I need this guy. Hi. I'm doing Control-Shift-D to duplicate the layer and split it at my playhead, by the way. It's a very useful shortcut. There we go. This whole segment I'm okay with. I don't know. It seems like I should have that transition a little smoother. There it is. The fast way to do this might be to open up the Flash document and just change it there, but I'm committed now. I'm just going to eyeball it. On this frame, his nozzle is right there. So on this frame, we need it to be in the same place. What did I do wrong? Oh. I didn't have held keyframes turned on. Now I can check. Close enough. Kazan asked, usually how much time does it take for you to animate one Your Dinosaurs Are Wrong episode? That varies wildly. This episode, which is entirely animation, but it's only 6 minutes long, has taken I'm not sure, probably like 6 weeks, maybe less. Because I haven't been able to work on it consistently, because we've had one thing after another happen at the lab where I'm not able to be at my desk. But I would say about 6 weeks for this, whereas for something like Stegosaurus, that took like 2.5 months-ish. Yeah, so it takes a while. I do try to, wherever I can, make assets that I can then use in later episodes with very little modification. Like I've used the animated tectonic map in every episode since we made it with slight modifications, but I think I need to update it now. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that part bugged me when it just cut to the next thing. I think it looks better that way. All the rest of these make sense, basically. Next, we have doop. I'm not sure. I think for this, I'm just going to bring it in. So we're going to do the simple thing and just say, and we gotta take these guys over here, and this guy, oh, wrong shortcut. Oh, that was bad. You gotta set your end point before you change your beginning point, because otherwise you'll lose it. We're just starting one frame up is why I'm subtracting 1080. Why was pre-comp controls hidden or shy? Anyway. Gonna make sure, yep. It's good practice to just set a hold on any keyframes that you're not going to use again for a while, or any property tracks that you're not going to use for a while. Because that way it won't have a one long change to whatever the next thing is. Yeah, that makes sense. The last thing I'm going to go through and do is add the little wiggle to that sort of emulates the shake that you get when you're doing cutout animation, but I'm not going to bore you with that because that's just going through, finding all the places where stuff moves and flipping a switch. So I usually save that for last. And also there's not a lot to be learned from it. See, this part I actually don't want to do a transition because the point is, bling, there's nothing here. Here we do need a transition of some kind. Let's make one. Hello. My nose itched. Bad, Steven. Bad.
Go for Chris.
What's your location?
Computer Recycling Center.
When you turn off keyframing, it retains whatever the value currently is at the playhead. That's cheating, but again, not going to sweat it too bad. Here is where we need some transitions. I'm actually going to put this down here so that I remember that it's there. And then
I realized that Jerry had the late shift today by himself. Okay. And Jerry and Anna both out, and they're both like out. Okay. If you can't, that's okay. I'm juggling many things. I guess if no one else can, I'll take it. Okay, I will.
same story here.
I will provide an update in a little bit.
We have a lot of staff members sick, and Moose needs someone to do late shift, is what I was responding to there. I doubt that y'all could hear the question. Yeah.
Corey can do today. We have somebody cover Corey's shift on Monday. Okay. Hopefully that will be Jerry, but we'll sort it out. Okay.
I'm on deck for Monday anyway,
Captain Joey, come in, Joey. Poor Batman.
if that's relevant.
Go for Joey. Did you guys empty the scrap wire bin today? We did not. Alright, just checking. Cool.
Oh, I forgot. Because I transformed the transition, I also have to apply that same, transform to the mask. In fact, I'm going to copy these after I turn them fuchsia so that I remember where they are. There we go. That was dumb because I only need one. All right, 22111. Hey, it remembered. How about that? And this is another silhouette alpha, isn't it? Then we set this. You know, we don't actually need that there. All right, set this to use this as alpha inverted. And we set this to use this as alpha normal. And in theory, what we wind up with what just happened? So it's working here. Why isn't it working in the main composition? Because I have a bunch of keyframes here telling it, hey, turn these off. That's why. There we go. Perfection. Except that that text comes in too early, so let's fix that real quick. Cool. So silent. Oh,
Steven?
what?
Oh, okay, never mind.
Hang on. Can you guys hear me? Hey, open broadcaster. No, my mic's working. I guess so silent now might be referring to something else. I don't need another transition here. All right, we definitely need a transition here. So, how do we do this? We're gonna use number 3 again, I think. Let's duplicate that and have it start there. Oh my goodness, pardon. And we're going to have, I already forgot which one we're using, 3. It's 3. There we go. Make that fuchsia. There it is. Endpoint. Alpha inverted mat. Correct. And this exact frame, that needs to be gone. Yay. I have no idea if that's what Ertstromer looked like. Did Ertstromer describe Crunchosaurus? No, I'm not actually sure. Who was responsible for Tendaguru? Now I can't, off the top of my head, remember. There's no audio here, but what I'm going to do is be slightly fancy, because I can. I'm going to bring in a null. Where's local controls? My goodness, I have a lot of layers. Local controls, number 4. There's that.
How soon can you give me that thumb drive? I'm about to be stuck working front desk for a bit. It'd be handy to pause this machine. Downloading it currently. Got 15 minutes. Excellent. Thank you, sir.
All right, and then we'll set our opacity to 0. And I need my drop shadow so that the next step works. And then I'm going to take this, extend it a little bit. Oh, It just occurred to me that this might be a dumb idea. So the thing I was going to do was have this guy have one bit rotate out and the next bit rotate in, which would be easy to do if these were all their own layers, but these are controlled by expressions and stuff. It might be possible. I just can't do it with a rote parent. What I was doing there was setting up a common parent between the two so that I can just rotate that object, and that'll work. But that can't be done with the way this has to operate if I'm going to do a rotation. So I'm going to go to here-ish. Well, I'm going to go 12 frames forward. Let's go 14. And we're going to use our pan behind tool again. I'm going to drag our anchor point down to here. There we go. And on this guy, we need to adjust our anchor point position as well. No, we don't. We need to adjust it on this guy down here. Pardon me. So we need zeroization, position, and anchor point. We need to set those to hold and put them all the way at the beginning so we don't mess anything up before this. Do that again. Go to our out point. Do that again. Yes. Okay. So now whatever I do in this little window here won't affect the very next frame, which is what I wanted. No, I hate that. Okay, so sometimes when you let go of the mouse, it takes a second. So if you immediately move your cursor, it'll move it to wherever you moved your cursor, which is moderately frustrating. Okay. So here we have to be at negative 180. And here we have to be at positive 180. And if I did that right, oh, also we need to do some easing. One second. There we go. Yay. Was that an unnecessary amount of work? Yes. Was it worth it to have a Stegosaurus doing a Free Willy impression? Yes. Why do I have this here? I never use it again. I need this to be this way. And I need it to be over here. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? Okay. Let's have it be centered. Have it be right here. This is another one where I think it actually makes the most sense to just transition straight to it. Well, I could do something slightly fancy. I could... Probably speed that part up. That's nice and simple. And the next one is going to be another slide transform. But I think that's going to have to be it for tonight, or this afternoon. I was hoping there wasn't this much work left to do on it, but we're more than halfway. So tomorrow morning I should be able to finish this. Unfortunately for now I have to do some end of day stuff. But I want to thank everyone who tuned in and everybody who's going to subsequently watch this archived. And I especially want to thank Andrew Cole for contributing to our Patreon above the level that is required just to see the archive streams. If you are interested in supporting the show on Patreon, you should check it out. And I will see you next time.